Hello, everybody. I want to welcome all of us into this broadcast today. Today we are dealing raw with our recovery community service, and I believe quite right that what we are receiving today is what we are putting together to be able to help us to be able to connect with our community operations, which is part of what we do. Today I'll be having Sharon that will be coming on board, joining me on this platform. I want us to know quite right that this is going to bring a lot of blessings for every one of us that is connecting to us at this moment. She will be coming in the next few minutes. Right now, we've been talking about how to engage with coping skills that I believe will help anyone that is going through any journey of recovery to be able to engage and survive the journey that they have. And in this moment, we are going to how will I call it? Be able to share with us things that will help us to be able to connect. So, and as we connect, I know we'll be able to receive information that will help us to be able to leverage our present level of work. So we've been talking quite right about here come Sister Sharon.
Hello, hello.
I want everybody to join me to welcome Lady Sharon, all the way from West Virginia. And on this journey, we've been together on this journey trying to work with many people on how to connect with the vital resource that can help them to enhance their recovery. And she's taking us on different strands of this journey. So I want to encourage you, if you have a friend there, please call them. That something therapeutic is about to be released, and information that can bring transformation and revelation that can change your life is going to be shared with you on this platform. So, Sister Sharon, you are welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And it feels good to be back. Yeah, I had to take some personal time to deal with some personal issues, and we're back, and it's good, and we're going to continue on from where we left off.
Yeah.
And so we're talking about we're talking about dealing with coping skills for recovery.
Yes.
And our focus this week is going to be, because we have 10 coping skills. And so our focus this week is we're going to jump right in here. We don't have a lot of time here today. So this week is going to be avoiding high risk situations where you are likely to relapse. And so I'm going to, so if I may go off screen and you will just still see a picture of me. A still photo if my camera goes off. Don't be alarmed. My picture will still be here because I need to go to another. I want to talk about high risk behavior and what it is. And so we know that the National Institute on Drug Abuse defines high risk situations as those that threaten your recovery or trigger a strong craving to use substances. And these may be internal or external. And so I want to just cover some of the internal right now. Some of these internal high-risk situations could be negative feelings such as sadness, boredom, anxiety, guilt, fear, or loneliness. They could also be positive feelings such as joy, excitement, or happiness. And so we never really think of like, oh wow, high risk situations to make me relapse could be just being happy. Yeah, there's some literature that I read and it says the good times could be a trap. Wow, who would have thought the good times could be a trap? Because addiction is like, okay, wow, I'm feeling good, everything's going well. I got the raise on the job, I got promoted, the kids are acting well, everything's going well. And that thing in that voice in the head says, hey, let's go celebrate. So I have to be mindful that the good times can also be a trap. Other internal high risk situations could be the belief that I can handle getting high or drinking ever so often. It's like, oh, well, I've been clean for a while. So, maybe I can have one now. Because after all, it's been a year, it's been 6 months, I've done well. Maybe I can have one. I've had friends who I've heard say that on their 1 year anniversary of being clean, that they decided it was okay to go out and celebrate being clean by using, only to realize that that was just a trap because when they went out on that one night to celebrate their 1 year anniversary, it ended up taking them many years to get back, sometimes 10, 15 years just to get back after that one night celebration. So it's not a good idea to think that something that has kept me prisoner for 20 years, that just because I've had a year or a few months of success, that I can now all of a sudden have a handle on it. So those are some of the things. So the other internal high risk situations are isolating myself physically or emotional away from my family, friends, and other loved ones, or people that have assisted me in maintaining my recovery. Or, dwelling on thoughts about getting high or drinking, or whatever it is my addiction is. If I am constantly thinking about the casino, if I am constantly thinking about porn, or thinking about eating, or constantly thinking about shopping, or watching the shopping channel, or I am constantly looking at the allow myself to look at or do those things that are connected to my addiction, then that is likely to trigger and to provoke my internal risky behavior that would lead to back to my addiction. So those are some of the internal things that I want to look at when I'm thinking about high risk behaviors. So there are also some external stimuli that I want to avoid and I want to make sure that I pay attention to. And some of those are feeling physical pain. Feeling physical pain is a surefire way of triggering high risk. No, that's a surefire high risk situation that I want to try to avoid. I do not want to put myself in a situation where I am going to experience a lot of physical pain, because physical pain is a motivator to drive me to want to do something to take away from the pain. And when I want to take away from the pain, how do I do that? It is so easy for me to want to go back to the easier, softer way because of the pain, the emotional pain and the physical pain that I endured in my life. Those are the things that drove me to the drink and the drug in the first place. Those are the things that told me that I wanted to numb what I was feeling, because all the pain that I felt in active addiction wasn't as a result of just the emotional pain and the spiritual and the mental pain. A lot of it had to do with some physical pain that was taking place too. I think about the people that I know in my life that were addicted to opioids, and because they had the accident at work, or because they had the sport injury or the car accident, and that was the beginning of their end, you know. And so to have physical pain would not be a really good thing, because see, my brain has a way of telling me that I hurt more than I actually hurt. So I can have a level 1 pain and my brain will tell me, because I suffer from the disease of more, the disease of addiction is that always telling me things are more than what they are. My brain will manifest a level 1 pain into a level 20 pain. And it'll tell me, oh my God, oh, it hurts so much. I gotta do something, so I need to try to avoid physical pain as much as possible. Or at least avoid putting myself in situations where I'm gonna cause myself physical pain. Now, it's one thing to do something and physical pain to happen. Maybe I'm outside and I'm working on the car and I hurt myself. That's unavoidable. I'm not saying that I can't do activities, but I don't just purposely go out and try to lift a car by myself. I go out and I say, hey, can you help me do this? I don't go out and you know, they even as growing up all my life, I've always went places in school or at the hospital or all kind of places, and they teach you how to lift properly. So when I go, I don't try to lift 20 boxes at one time. I lift 1 box at a time, you know, and so that's why it's, you know, that's the purpose of feeling physical pain. That's an external high risk situation. So I want to try to limit my ability to feel physical pain as much as I can. The other external high risk situation is being in the presence of other people who are using drugs, alcohol, other people who are gambling, other people who are watching pornography, other people who are shopping, other people who are overeating. If I have a friend and I have a problem with overeating, I don't want to hang out with Joe and Joe is saying, come on, let's go get 5 pieces. And it's just 2 of us. 2 of us don't need 5 pieces. Well, I don't want to hang out with Sally and Sally is like, oh yeah, come on, I'm going shopping. And I know that I only should be spending $100. And I know Sally is not going to say, hey, okay, let's just get this and go. I know Sally's going to be like, girl, it's on sale. Oh, let's go over here. They got 50% off. We can get 3 for $400. It's on sale. When I know I don't need it. Or I go over to Joe's house and Joe say, hey, dude, I got some new tapes. Oh man, you should see them. They getting real freaky. I got these 2 new tapes and oh man, you should see the chick. I don't need to go. Or to go to Michael's house and Michael say, oh, well, you got 5 weeks clean. You can go ahead and just do 1. Those are not the people I need to be around, because they have a problem and they can't help themselves. So they surely are not going to be able to help me or you. So those are the situations. Those are high risk situations that I don't need. Another high risk situation is when I'm getting ready to get a paycheck. If I'm getting a paycheck and I know that I have never been able to get paid and do the right thing, then I don't need to go get my paycheck by myself.
We have to go with somebody.
Then I need to take my husband or my wife or my kids or somebody with me. And it's okay. It's okay to be an adult and to say, hey, you know what? I am poor. I have poor money management skills. I just had to open an account. Yes, me had to open an account and take all the money that I had because I didn't want to blow all my money and put it in the account. And I put the account in my mother's name and I did not put my name on it. So I could not have access to it. And I did that under the advisement of Dr. Adivo, my pastor, because I knew that I did not want to find myself in the same position that I found myself in time after time after time. And if I wanted something different, I have to do something different.
So what is the impact? Like you give an example, an advice of what I can take along to the bank, or I'm about to get my paycheck. Please come with me. So what is the advantage of that?
Yes, that's exactly what I do. I'm getting paid and I say, hey, can you come and go with me because I need to go cash my check? Or if I'm getting direct deposit, now I don't have all of it directly deposited because you can split your payments up. So like for me, for instance, the example I just gave, I had a large sum of money. So what I had to do was I had to take a large sum of what I had gotten and I opened up another account in my mom's name and I had that money transferred from my regular account into that new account and I don't have any access to it. The only thing I did was make myself the beneficiary. God forbid something happens to her so that it's not split with my siblings. Because if something happens to her, then it would be viewed as her money and then it gets split with everybody. So just so to protect myself and know that that's my funds, I put my name on as the beneficiary. But other than that, no, I have no access to that money. I can do nothing with it. And because
that's more or less to distract you.
Yeah, so because we've had the conversation and she knows that I'm trying to do some things in my life.
Yeah.
And I don't have any shame in admitting that at this point in my life, there's some areas that I am weak. And when it comes to financial manageability, I am weak. And so I'm okay with asking for help.
Yeah.
So recovery
those are part of the coping skill.
Part of my coping skills is about knowing my limitations, knowing my strengths and my weaknesses. And when we know our strengths and our weaknesses, we can ask for help in the areas and when we're weak, and that's how we strengthen ourselves in those areas. Because when I say I'm weak in this area and I need to work on it so I can strengthen them. But if I pretend that I'm strong in an area in which I'm not, I will continue to fail in that area and I can never get strong. And what happens is the areas that I'm weak in, that I won't admit I'm weak in them, they will cause the areas that I'm strong in to become weak as well. You know,
these are part of the coping skill anybody can engage in, is to know the area where you are weak. Exactly. Is to know the area where you are vulnerable.
Exactly.
Don't you think that requires some degree of honesty?
That was the first coping skill, our very first coping skill. And that's why, each week I try to tell us that we have to build. The coping skills are like building a house. They're like building a house. And it's a foundation that we're setting with the first one in order to put the second one. Because if you don't have a foundation when you try to build your house, what's going to happen? The first strong wind come by, it will crumble. So the very first coping skill was be honest with yourself and others. So if I'm not honest with myself, by the time I get to number 5, avoiding high risk situations, I'm not going to tell anybody that I'm practicing high risk situations. I got to be honest enough to say to somebody that, hey, I'm getting ready to go over to Ronnie's house. See, when I say that, somebody's going to already know that I'm getting ready to practice a high risk situation. Because more than likely, they already know that Ronnie is still using drugs.
Yep.
And they're going to say to me, well, hold up. Because they're going to already be. So number 4 was what? Develop a strong support network. Now, because I got honest and I have a support network, they're going to look at, why are you going to Ronnie's house, Sharon? Why are you going to Ronnie's house? And then it goes back to number 3, my gratitude list. Aren't you grateful for what you have? You can go to Ronnie's house. Aren't you, why you need to get up out the house? You was just sitting in the house. You were meditating a few minutes ago, because remember, number 2 is relax. So what has happened? What has happened in between the time you just got off of work, you was in there meditating, relaxing, and you just told me you were grateful? Because see, this is how all these lists comes into play. And now you sound like you're going over to Ronnie's house. Why? Because somewhere along the line, somewhere my layers, something happened in the layers, but but my support network is going to know what happened. Everything, you see how all of that comes into play. We're talking about, let's look at number 1. Be honest. So I'm going to Ronnie's house. So we're going to go backwards now. We're going to work backwards. So when I say to my support, I'm getting ready to practice a high risk. Yeah. I'm going to go to Ronnie's house, who's still using drugs. So number 4, develop a strong network. Somebody's going to want to know, why are you going to Ronnie's house? They're going to remind me of number 3, my journal and my gratitude list. What are you grateful for? Because you're going to Ronnie's house. There must be something you're grateful for today. Number 2, relax in any situation. Any situation. You are discomfortable. So what's going on? And get honest. Number 1. And if I can work those steps backwards to look at what happened in between that, or even go forward to come back to the work, go backwards so I can come back forward to get back to number 5 to find out what's going on. Because now I'm getting ready to set myself up for failure. I got to ask myself, what happened for you to now want to go over to somebody's house that you know is using? And what is your motivation for that?
The person may not even be as strong as you are, may not have achieved as much as what you have achieved, or has not even begun their journey of recovery at all.
Right. But here's the thing, it's easier for them to pull me in for me to pull them out. See, because there's 2 more external high risk situations. The next one is being in a place where you use to drink or get high. Ronnie's house is the place where I used to use and get high. And then it says attending a celebratory event. At Ronnie's house right now, they're celebrating. They're having a party. They're celebrating because Ronnie's little brother just got out of jail. That's why I'm going. That's why I told myself it's a good idea to go over there. But what do I have to do with that? See? Now I done got honest and told everybody, I'm just going over there because little Mikey just got out of jail and I want to go over there, or little Julie is graduated and going to college, so I'm gonna go over there and celebrate. But I gotta know, because sometimes there's some good things that we tell ourselves. It might be, maybe Ronnie's little sister's graduating and going off to college, but I used to be in the basement over there getting high. So maybe it's a good thing. So because I can't be a part of everything. So maybe the best thing for me to do is maybe take her to lunch tomorrow.
At your own terms, in where you want.
On my own terms, and when it's healthy and safe for me. Maybe I don't need to go over there to the party tonight to celebrate, because I already know that they're going to be doing a little bit of drinking, and then some of them are going to slip off later on and go downstairs in the basement, because I know what happens in the basement. So maybe the best thing for me to do is just wait till tomorrow, go pick her up, and take the little sister out to lunch and celebrate with her that way. Because I shouldn't be putting myself in a high-risk situation. So because we talk about a high-risk situation is anything that is likely to lead to drug use, whether it involves a person's internal emotional state or their external surroundings. Because it can help me to identify. What it does is it helps me to identify and prepare for unplanned occurrences. And it also helps me to provide insight into why I resort to drug use in the first place. That's what it does. It helps me because I'm not going over there. I'm not going over there to Ronnie's house. I'm just going over there to help his little sister celebrate graduating and going to college, right? That's the last thing on my mind is going over there to use drugs. I'm not going over there for that. I don't even want to use drugs. I'm not going over there to end up in the room with Ronnie watching the new latest XXX, Margie Does Dan.
Or Fast and Furious.
Yeah, Margie Does Dan, Fast and Furious 20. I'm not going to watch that. All I'm going to do, but hey, all of a sudden something come, I smell something, or I see 3 of the guys go into the room, and before you know it, I'm like, okay, what are they going to? Hey, somebody say, hey, Jimmy, come here. I'm in there now. I can't leave. I can't leave. Not only am I watching the movie now, because I'm into the Betty Triple D does Danny whatever. I'm so into that now that somebody passed me. So now all of my addictions are getting, because I'm so into Double D Betty doing Danny B. Somebody passed me something, and I'm watching that so much. Before you know it, now I smoked a joint too. And then guess what? Oh my God, what did I just do? What? I done relapsed on the porn. I done relapsed on the drugs. And guess what? Now the Addicts National Anthem. F it. I might as well go all in now. Come on, y'all, let's go. You see what I'm saying? I never planned. I never planned any of that.
Wow.
In their heart, their good intentions, all they really planned on doing was going over, because maybe that's their next door neighbor. And I was just gonna go over there 10 minutes, say congratulations, take the little gift over there, eat some of that good potato salad Mama Rita make, and I was out of there. That's it. That's it. Now it's 5 years later. 5 years later, I'm under the bridge. Under the bridge, had these clothes on for 30 days. Stink worse than any stench you ever smelled. Sores. If my own mama saw me, she wouldn't recognize me. And wondering what happened. And guess what? This person may not be that I'm describing now, may not necessarily be somebody that just had 30 days clean. This person could be somebody that was clean for 30 years. During this pandemic, Pastor, there are people with 25 years clean. They have been clean in recovery for 25, 30 years. That have forgotten to do some of the things that we're talking about here, and have went back out and used drugs, or went back and did some or whatever it was that they were doing that they were recovering from.
So they more or less blow up what I call the recovery capital.
Yes, blow it up. Blow it up. Some have blown it up without ever having a chance to start the process over. Because when they blew it up, it ended in death. So they don't get another chance. There is no more chances. The more fortunate ones, they got another chance, because they can, if they choose to, they can start over again.
But I hope they will not, I hope that does not, I hope their thoughts does not beat them into depression and say, I blew it up again after all the hard work. Can I ever do anything right? I'm talking of that negative automatic talk that actually goes on people's mind after they have relapsed. I'm no good. I have said I'm no good. There's what is called negative core beliefs, and there's what is called negative automatic thoughts. The core beliefs are things that I've settled down and said, this is what I am. I can't change myself. I just have to accept myself this way, that I have said it, that there is nothing I can do that will succeed. Those are things that have been running on the mind, run all this while, which is responsible for the feelings and which is the reason for the behavior. That is there's that lie, there's these delicious lies they are fed, and they believe it that, well, I tried 25 years. If I blew it, I said it before, I might fail. And so what do you think, how do you think they're able to come out of that cycle of thinking?
Well, in order to get rid of the negative self-talk, you have to replace it with positive self-talk.
Okay.
And you have to change the narrative. You have to change. I always say you have to change the frame. So you have to reframe everything. And in order to do that, change people, places, and things. First, you have to understand that one day at a time. Everything is done one day at a time. So you have to stay in the day, understand that everything happens over time, not over time, not overnight. And I'm involved in a 12-step program. So we say things to each other like, let us love you till you learn how to love yourself. Let us love you till you learn how to love yourself. There's the therapeutic value of one addict helping another. We change our thinking with the information that we put in. We say we learn that what I feel is not a fact, is just the fact that I feel it. And positive self-talk. That's the thing. That's the one key thing. See, I talk back to my disease. When my disease say I'm not no good, and if my thinking say you're no good, I say you're a lie. I am some good. If it said I can't, I say why can't I? You know, but I've had years and years of, and there's another thing we do. We says, you know, I suffer from the disease of addiction, but I have mental health issues. And so I believe in a holistic view of things too, that you know, I get my treatment, my disease and my addiction treated through a 12-step program. I get my mental health treated through mental health professionals.
So there are two separate things.
So there are two separate things, and I go to two separate places to get them treated. So even though I'm in a 12-step program, that 12-step program that I'm in, it advocates getting outside help for outside issues. So I go to outside professionals and I get my mental health treatment.
So the outside issues are taken care of by the 12 steps program.
No, the outside issues are taken care of by the outside professionals. The addiction is taken care of by the 12-step program.
Good. So which one is inside? Which one is outside?
Neither one of them. Both of them are internal. Addiction is an internal issue. Mental health is an internal issue. Both of them. So my addiction is spiritual in nature. Right? My mental health is mental in nature. Okay? But my mental health, I have a mental health profession that helps me to deal with it. My addiction, which is spiritual in nature, I have a spiritual guide to help me deal with that one. And I call that the God of my understanding. So that's a spiritual malady. I suffer from a spiritual malady. And I use spiritual principles to deal with that one. The spiritual principles that I use to deal with them are honesty, open-mindedness, willingness, empathy, acceptance, tolerance. And it's a whole more list of them. And those spiritual principles are found in the 12 steps of the program that I follow.
Okay.
12 steps to that program, and I can give them to you, but that'd be for another time.
That'd be another time.
There are 12 steps, and those 12 steps are introspective. They allow me to go on the inside, of who I am, to take a look at me, to figure out. So they allow me to uncover so I can discover, so I can recover. They allow me to uncover all of the mess that I use to cover up me, right? So I can discover who I am, so I can recover.
That is under 12 steps.
That's under my 12 steps. And they lead me to a God, the God of my understanding.
So that is one of the therapeutic pathway to dealing with the addiction.
Amen. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And so when we say a God of our understanding, we say a God of our understanding, and I'm going to have to go here. I'm watching the time, but we say a God of our understanding because this 12 steps is a spiritual, not religious program. And the 12 step allows every individual to develop a relationship because it is a God-given program. But we don't emphasize any specific God because it's not about, we don't want anybody to be ran out of the rooms of ran out of the rooms of the program, because simply put, there have been too many people throughout their life who has had God used as a weapon. God has been used as a weapon against them instead of used as the loving and caring being who God is. God has been used as, you are going to go to hell. God hates you. God is going to kill you. God is going to do this to you. God is going to do that. And so people have become afraid of God. People literally hate God. People have not been able to get a relationship with God as God has probably wanted them to. And so people see God as this monster And so what we do in the rooms of the programs with 12 step is we say, hey, hold up. You come in, you get the spiritual nature of who this God is. You develop a relationship and you get to set the boundaries. And you get to feel the spirit and the nature of who the God is. And then you and God gets to sit down and decide what your relationship is. And based on that, people have left and went outside of the rooms and have began to follow different. Some people have left and decided to follow different religious practices. So we have people in these 12-step programs who are preachers and ministers and reverends and deacons and all of that. But they found God through the 12 steps and developed a relationship and understanding that was loving and caring and not all fire and brimstone. Not God's gonna blind you. Touched yourself. God's gonna blind you and He's gonna kill you and He's gonna send you to the pits of hell and you're gonna die forever.
So some of them say, well, I'm already in hell now. Anyway, there's no hell you're talking about.
I've been to hell. If He's gonna send me to hell, I'm already here, so I might as well stay. I remember a story of a person coming into a meeting and he cussed God. He cussed him so bad. He was like, F God, F him, he ain't He cussed God so bad in the meeting. But this same person is now a minister.
Wow.
But that's what the 12-step does. It allows people to become whole and free and to develop their relationship with God in their time, at their pace and at their race. It doesn't force God down people's throat.
That's good.
And so, yeah.
That's a very good one. So, Sharon, thank you for this. What you shared today takes to eat it bit by bit, so that we'll be able to, so that you don't overfeed. Amen. I mean, in terms of the level of what you are passed across, they are very helpful. And I believe we're going to stop here. I know Sharon wants to go to some other things to do. This that you shared with us is a brainwashing discussion that can help somebody to know that no matter how come they have come on the journey, there is still hope for them. So thank you for sharing this, and I believe we are going to come back to continue this area, because I believe some people need this. They need to be fed this delicious pathway to recovery. And I believe that it will help anybody listening around the world that is listening to us today. We'll stop here today. Myself and Sharon, we're going to be back. And Sharon, do you have anything to say last before we go?
No, I just encourage everyone to continue to come back. We have so much information, so much hope, and so much help that we can provide anybody who's struggling with addiction, who has a family member that may be struggling with addiction, or anybody that would just like to get information so that they may share it with a loved one, or just to have the knowledge, because you never know when God may use you to help somebody else. And with that, thank you all for allowing me to come into your homes, into your cars, into your communities. And I will see you again next week, God willing. I do have to go. I have 10 minutes to be somewhere else, and I have to leave the house. So peace. God bless you all. And I'm going to sign out. Love you all.
Thank you. So thank you. We have listened to Sharon, and we are going to have her again to come back. It's been a very wonderful information sharing season, And I've been blessed, personally refreshed by this information that she's giving. And I believe somebody out there has been enlightened on how this thing play out, these internal battles play out. And that's why we are doing this program as part of our operation of this ministry under Recovery Community Services. This is an arm of Destiny Church for All Nations, Washington, D.C. and London, that we are trying to provide this thread of a lifeboat for people that have been through this. And I want to thank every one of you for being a part of this. We'll be coming your way tomorrow again by 8 p.m. I'll be back here about 7 p.m. to pray for your business. Then 8 p.m. for live Facebook. God bless you. Please share this message on YouTube, on Facebook. Share it with your friends. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow in Jesus' name. Bye-bye, everybody.